Hi, this is Stephen Hasty with Care Labs. We're going to be looking at cleaning in a COVID-19 environment. As you guys know, COVID-19 has been a huge outbreak that has disrupted a lot of people's lives. A lot of people have gotten sick, and it shut down a lot of our businesses. Now, in order to be able to reopen, the CDC has set some guidelines and ensuring disinfection and cleanliness of our businesses. So as we reopen, we're going to have to increase our standards of what we were doing previously into what we need to be doing now in order to ensure that we are clean and disinfected, and so that we can keep ourselves safe as well as our clients, our employees, and any animals entering into our facility. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at it. Thanks for joining me. So how do we accomplish this mission, and what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about proper cleaning and disinfecting protocols. Every industry, no matter what industry you're in, establishing SOPs. If you don't know what an SOP is, well, we're going to start. And that is standard operating procedures, obviously when it comes to cleanliness and how we clean and how we disinfect. And then we're going to have to properly implement these new standards. That's going to require training, as well as enforcing new protocols and sick policies. Many of us have sick policies already, but we don't always enforce them as strictly as we're probably going to need to moving forward. And then we need to have the proper tools to actually get the job done. So we're going to take a look at these things. Now, if you're a food processor or a medical account, you're already probably familiar with what standard operating procedures are. But every industry must now implement SOPs in order to control the spread of all illnesses, and specifically the virus COVID-19. So these procedures address how often cleaning and disinfecting should take place, what products are being used, and how are they prepared. Are they diluted? Are they ready to use? Diluted obviously means that there is some work that needs to be done from taking a product from its concentrated form and to properly diluting it to its use instructions on the product label. Ready to use obviously means what it says. It's ready to use, ready to go, ready to apply. What safety equipment and precautions are needed to be taken? What personal protective equipment is necessary, or PPE? What do I need to do with people and animals that are in the areas that I want to clean? And the written steps. What are the protocols on proper cleaning and disinfecting? So if you do not have standard operating procedures on your cleaning for your facility, we strongly encourage you to start this now. So what is a proper disinfecting protocol? You may not know that Care Labs is involved in a chemical member group known as ISSA. We've been members for many years. Inside ISSA is a division known as the Global Biorisk Advisory Council. In early March, they put on a webinar concerning the outbreak of COVID-19. They recommended disinfecting protocols. Inside that disinfecting protocol, they included a new step, a step we had not seen before. It is known as pre-disinfection. I want to go over now the disinfecting protocol. The first stage is disinfection. This is an initial application of a cleaning and disinfecting product like Biocide Plus or Spritz. You spray the product on the unclean surfaces. So this is before you enter into the area and clean. Once you've applied the disinfectant, then you can go into the area and clean it. Obviously, this assumes that you're wearing proper equipment. We talked about that briefly. We'll continue to talk about PPE later on. You'll want to be wearing all that equipment before you ever start this process. So clean the area. You're going to remove dirt, soils with the proper tools, scrub brushes, brooms, water hose, etc. Use disinfectant cleaner like Biocide Plus to aid with the stubborn soils. Remember, product like Biocide Plus is also a really good cleaner, as well as Spritz. Rinse the area until it is clean. Once your area is clean, then we move on to the disinfecting stage. And this is a new policy for many of you. As we go into facilities many times, I don't see a disconnection between cleaning and disinfecting. People are always looking for a one-time application for both cleaning and disinfecting. Unfortunately, we're going to have to look at this differently. The proper way, if you look at your product label, to clean and disinfect is to separate the two processes. You have to apply the product to clean the area, then you have to apply the product again to disinfect. So again, going through this, you're going to pre-disinfect by applying the product before you ever enter into the area to clean it. Then you're going to clean it. Then you're going to rinse it. And now you can apply disinfectant and allow the adequate contact time to disinfect against COVID-19 and the broad spectrum of organisms on the product label. Remember that the contact time is 10 minutes. It is viable to make this happen. It's very difficult sometimes to make a 10-minute contact time happen in your business operation, but now more than ever, we are going to have to implement these disinfecting protocols. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about hand washing, but it is a very important step before you get started on anything regarding cleaning. You want to make sure that you have clean hands before you ever put on any PPE like gloves. So hand washing is required before putting on your safety equipment and starting the cleaning process. You want to follow your CDC guidelines in washing hands with antibacterial hand soaps. Make sure you're using an antibacterial hand soap. Hand washing should also immediately follow the cleaning process once PPE is removed and you're done with the cleaning process. So that's that. Make sure you're washing your hands before and after you clean. Make sure that you're using antibacterial hand soap. If you're not, we'd love to help you at Care Labs. We have some antibacterial hand soaps that you can use. Lately, you've probably heard the acronym PPE in the news. Maybe you didn't know what it stands for then, but you do now. That's personal protection equipment and safety. As COVID-19 has become an issue, many are learning about PPE. In order to protect individuals cleaning and exposed to potentially contaminated surfaces, PPE is required. This is why you wear gloves. This is why we recommend eye protection. This is why you want to have proper clothing. While some equipment may not be available, one should have access to these protections. Face and eye protection. You want to make sure you're wearing safety glasses or face masks if applicable. You want to make sure you have hand protection for gloves and limited skin exposure. Proper clothing, skin areas like forearms, etc. that are exposed need to be washed before and after the cleaning and disinfecting process. So you want to make sure that you have the proper PPE equipment on whenever you are cleaning and disinfecting. Safety data sheets will give you the information you need, as well as your product label, on what PPE is required for each product. So you can refer to your product label or your SDS sheet to tell you what is needed for each product. Obviously, some of this traditional equipment like N95 masks may not be available, so you may have to improvise a little bit. And this PPE is not just to protect yourself from the virus, it's also to protect yourself against any kind of chemical spill or chemical accident. So we want to make sure that we're really following these PPE guidelines for both the reason of COVID-19 and for cleaning itself and being exposed to the product. Let's talk a little bit more about pre-disinfection. Again, this is kind of a newer concept that when we intended this webinar from the Global Biorisk Advisory Council that we learned about. Pre-disinfection is a protection for those cleaning against a potentially contaminated area by applying disinfectant to it initially. While disinfection, the elimination of 99.9999% of bacteria and viruses, doesn't actually occur in this stage, it does knock down the potential infectious agent contamination. Let me put this to you in another way. Disinfectants are inactivated by high soil loads, meaning lots of dirt and lots of soil. For instance, if I were to go out in my backyard and spray Biocide in my backyard, hoping that it will kill all the germs on the grass and in the dirt, it wouldn't work that way. Biocides and disinfectants can't work in extremely high soil loads. So most of the areas that we're cleaning need to be cleaned before they can be disinfected. But the pre-disinfection stage understands that 99.9999% of bacteria and viruses won't actually be eliminated, but some will. And so it's worth spraying and pre-disinfecting before we even start the cleaning and disinfecting stage. Use a tool like a pump up or water hose dispensing sprayer to apply disinfectant to the dirty area. That way you don't have to actually enter into the area before you start the cleaning and disinfecting process. Reduce the potential infection contamination is important before the cleaning process begins. This is a protection to the individual cleaning. This is why we do this. It's not necessarily because of the end result, it's because of the person that's doing the cleaning. We want to reduce the potential infection contamination. Even though we can't claim disinfection, we can claim that some germs and some of the bacteria and viruses are at least significantly reduced. In other words, in a given scenario, instead of 99.9999% of disinfecting certain germs and bacteria, perhaps we're at least eliminating 40 to 50%. That's a much better situation. Avoid direct contact with these critical areas without first using proper PPE. So don't even start the pre-disinfecting, the cleaning, or the disinfecting process without making sure that you're wearing proper PPE. It's always good to repeat stuff over and over again. So again, we want to emphasize that cleaning and disinfecting are two different processes. It is critical to separate the processes, even as we use the same product for both purposes, like Biocide Plus and Spritz. Biocide Plus is a labeled cleaner, disinfectant, and deodorizer. Spritz as well. So after pre-disinfection, clean the surfaces by removing the soil via broom, brush, water pressure, etc. And you may have to use additional cleaning product as necessary to remove stubborn soils. Ensure that all the soil is removed and the surface is clean, and you may have to do a rinsing stage here. So again, this is talking about cleaning right here. Cleaning and disinfecting are two different stages. You need to clean first and then come back and disinfect. Of course, this last stage is what we're really going for, disinfecting our surfaces. So whenever we're disinfecting, we want to follow label instructions for contact times for organisms of concern. Obviously, right now in our environment, COVID-19 is the main concern. All of the CDC preferred products effective against COVID-19, the CDC is recommending a 10-minute contact time for those products. Please remember that Biocide Plus and Spritz, our Care Labs products, are on the CDC preferred N list as effective for use against COVID-19 for disinfecting against it. So we need a 10-minute contact time for our products. So apply disinfectant to clean surfaces, allowing for a 10-minute contact time concerning coronavirus before rinsing. And rinsing is not always necessary for some applications. If you have your product of Biocide Plus properly diluted at 1 ounce per gallon, then you can apply it to floors, for instance, and not have to rinse. So basically you can allow the contact time to exist until it dries. Read your label instructions or reach out to your representative here at Care Labs for recommended procedures. Now, understandably, throughout your business day, you may not always be able to pre-disinfect, clean, and disinfect. How often should we be disinfecting in the first place, especially in this environment? The answer is daily and often throughout the day. And in fact, anything that we do to take steps to disinfecting is better than not doing them at all. Front desk areas should have mixed or ready-to-use solutions available. By mixed, of course, I mean that they're properly diluted. Biocide Plus would be 1 ounce per gallon. Pre-disinfect and clean at the beginning of the day, and then apply disinfectant for the disinfection process after each interaction with customers. We're going to assume that after most interactions with customers, you don't need to pre-disinfect and clean after every single interaction. Shoes carry germs, dirt, and are an issue when trying to control contamination. Floors should be disinfected at least daily anywhere there is regular traffic. Obviously, again, we know the challenge of this. It's actually better if you could disinfect your floors throughout the day. All touch surfaces, this would be door handles, bathrooms, toilets, etc., should be cleaned using EPA registered disinfectants throughout the day. The reason we again emphasize disinfectants, of course you should be using a disinfectant, is because a lot of times when we talk about bathroom cleaning and toilets, we don't always make sure that the toilet cleaners that we are using are EPA registered disinfectants, but we recommend this. You can use Biocide Plus or you can use Spritz. Spritz actually has label directions for cleaning toilets. Schedule cleanings regularly, at least every 2 to 3 hours, depending on the amount of usage. The safest solution, of course, is after every interaction, although not always possible. We recognize this. Again, as we reopen and deal with the challenge of COVID-19, some of the challenges for most businesses will be changing our cleaning policy to including time to properly clean. Again, we're used to sort of a one solution, one time application of product in hopes that we're cleaning and disinfecting all at the same time. But we're going to need to have a pre-disinfecting cleaning stage separate from the disinfecting stage, making time for adequately cleaning and disinfecting surfaces. And then when we get to the final disinfecting stage, allowing a 10-minute contact time for most broad spectrum disinfection, and specifically COVID-19. This will be the main challenge, is the time and the labor that it will take to disinfect and how often we can do that in our normal business operations. Whenever we are cleaning and disinfecting, most of our areas, especially in front desk areas, require mopping, and this is because we don't have a draining system where we can use a water hose connected dispensing system like a hydrofoamer or a hydro sprayer. So mopping is one of the biggest areas for needed improvement because it can be a breeding ground for cross-contamination, meaning that a lot of us are using the same dirty mop over and over and over again. Remember, most mops are now launderable. In fact, if you need a launderable mop head, please contact us. Disinfectants, again, are inactivated by high soil loads. High soil loads are often found on dirty mop heads. So again, we want to make sure that we're regularly changing out our mop head so that the soil is not overwhelming the disinfectant. We want to make sure that we're actually disinfecting. Inactivated solutions means that germs and dirt is spreading wherever the mop lands. You can start cross-contaminating if we don't make sure that our mops are clean whenever we're using them. Let's talk about one of the best solutions for mopping. Consider this. Microfiber mop pads. They clean very well. Pads can be replaced easily throughout the cleaning process to avoid cross-contamination. Whether you're using a microfiber mop pad or a regular mop, here's the way that you can use your mop. First, we need to go to that pre-disinfecting and cleaning stage. Spray disinfectant and cleaning solution using a sprayer onto the floors. Notice we're not saying to apply disinfectant or cleaning solution using a mop. Spray the disinfectant using a sprayer right directly on the floors. You don't need a mop at this stage. Once you've applied the disinfectant and cleaning solution, now you can use your mop to clean the area. There should be no visible dirt or soils when complete. Our recommendation is to have one mop pad for the first stage of pre-disinfecting and cleaning, and a new mop head or mop pad, depending on whether you're using microfiber or a traditional one, for your disinfecting. So one used for stage 1 and another used for disinfecting. So after we're done cleaning, you could come back and apply new disinfectant solution, again using a sprayer directly onto the floors. Again, we're not recommending using mops to apply the disinfectant solution, but instead using a sprayer to directly put disinfectant solution onto the floors. Then wet a new mop pad or mop and apply the disinfectant evenly. Allow a 10-minute contact time. You can rinse with a new mop pad if necessary, or again, for a product like Biocide Plus, you don't have to rinse if it's been properly diluted at 1 ounce per gallon. Remember that in all things, always follow product label instructions. There are a lot of things to consider when properly cleaning. Please feel free to reach out to Care Labs, your representative, or just reach out to us by phone at 281-835-9600 or email us at support@carelabs.com. Again, the numbers are 281-835-9600 or support@carelabs.com. I'm mentioning that just because there's so many different cleaning methods and useful information that's out there. By the way, I've been giving you information regarding dilution of Biocide Plus at 1 ounce per gallon, please note that if you're using another disinfectant product, you'll want to read the product label instructions, because obviously all disinfectants do not have the same dilution rates. They're all made uniquely. So moving on to other useful information. Remember that for areas with draining systems, using a system that connects to a water hose makes a lot of sense. A hydrofoamer or sprayer for the 3 stages of pre-disinfecting, cleaning, and disinfecting. It's really useful, and it allows you to not have to be right in the middle of the area, but instead be a little further away from any areas of possible contamination. It makes the whole cleaning and disinfecting process a lot easier. Another useful tip is there's been a shortage of disinfectant wipes. They're hard to find right now. However, there are EPA registered disinfectants available. For instance, we have plenty of Biocide Plus in stock, at least as of April 30th, 2020. But you can create your own disinfectant wipes by setting a mist spray on your trigger sprayer and spraying into a paper towel. Now you've made a disinfectant wipe, and you can use it the same way you would a regular disinfectant wipe. In fact, disinfectant wipes are nothing but wipes that have been pre-soaken with disinfectant. So you can create your own during this shortage of disinfectant wipes. So as we open up our businesses again, as people start to come into our facilities, or animals start to come into our facilities, we need to be aware of the areas in need of consistent disinfection. This would be floors, doorknobs, both sides. Even if those doorknobs are outside, they need to be disinfected. Countertops, especially your front desk areas where clients will be coming in all the time throughout the day. Also toilets. Of course, bathrooms will be used all the time by employees and clients. The top seat, the bottom rim, every part of the toilet needs to be used. Remember here, don't just use a toilet cleaner, but use your EPA registered disinfectant. Your sink water knobs, refrigerators and microwave handles, keyboards and mouse. LM light mist just means, again, light mist. So you want to make sure you're not saturating some of these surfaces that would hurt a keyboard or another piece of electronics. So you want to do a light mist, or perhaps use a disinfectant wipe if you can find one, or make your own disinfectant wipe for these areas that say LM. That would be your phone sets. Again, you don't want to saturate your area. You don't want to spray disinfectant solution heavily on areas that would be damaged by water. Okay, so be careful with some of these different surfaces. Phone sets, personal cell phones, shoes, rinse after contact time. Basically, what this means is you need to disinfect your shoes, but since there's a cleaning component to the disinfectants that you use, sometimes your shoes can get sticky and can actually cause less cleanliness if you don't rinse off the cleaner and disinfectant afterwards. The way your shoes are, it's kind of porous in a sense, and things stick to it. So whenever you disinfect your shoes, you're probably going to want to rinse after your 10-minute contact time. So again, shoes though are huge. You need to be disinfecting your shoes, perhaps even telling your employees and people that are regularly entering into your facility to disinfect their shoes before they come in, and then when they get home, they need to disinfect again as well. Light switches, again, a light mist. Don't spray heavily into a light switch. Coffee pots and machines, snack machines. These are just some of the areas that we use every single day inside our facilities or at home or wherever we are that need to be consistently disinfected, especially as we come back to work and we reopen our state and our country. We're very excited about the reopening of businesses, and we want to help you. So please, again, reach out to us if you have a question. We have plenty of a lot of different types of cleaning products and tools in stock, and we're here to help. We're ready for the reopening. You can contact us again at 281-835-9600. If you're outside of the Texas area, you can call us toll free, 800-835-9501. Again, my name is Stephen Hasty. I'm the Customer Service Manager here at Care Labs, and we want to help businesses reopen safely with proper EPA registered disinfectants being used properly to disinfect against COVID-19. One of the things that you can do is make sure that the current products that you're using are on the CDC preferred in list. If you're a Care Labs customer, congratulations. If you're using Biocide Plus or Spritz, you are in spec. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Thank you and have a great day.